Mr. Lieu is now recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Chairwoman Jackson Lee. I serve active duty in the United States military because I believe we are an exceptional country. And one thing that exceptional countries do is we recognize the harms that we have done and we try to correct them. You know who understood this? President Ronald Reagan. He signed a law that gave reparations to Japanese Americans who were interned. He gave money to Japanese Americans based on race. And I've heard arguments by my Republican colleagues tonight. President Reagan would have rejected all of them. And I ask that you read his speech on August 10th, 1988. I'm going to read you some portions of it. He starts by saying, "The members of Congress and distinguished guests, my fellow Americans, we gather here today to right a grave wrong. More than 40 years ago, shortly after the bombing of Pearl Harbor, 120,000 persons of Japanese ancestry living in the United States were forcibly removed from their homes and placed in makeshift internment camps. The action was taken without trial, without jury. It was based solely on race. For these 120,000 were Americans of Japanese descent." And then later on, he says, "The legislation that I am about to sign provides for a restitution payment to each of the 60,000 surviving Japanese Americans of the 120,000 who were relocated or detained. Yet no payment can make up for those lost years. So what is most important in this bill has less to do with property than with honor. For here we admit a wrong. Here we reaffirm our commitment as a nation to equal justice under the law." President Reagan did this for an evil, un-American act that didn't even rise to a level of slavery. He was taking money from taxpayers not even born in World War II and giving that money to Japanese Americans. That wasn't theft. That was one of the shining moments of American history. He didn't dishonor Japanese Americans, he honored them. And for those of you, those Republicans at this committee who can't even vote for a bill that sets a commission to look at this issue, I urge tonight for you to look in a mirror and ask yourself, how did you fall so far away from the standard that Ronald Reagan set? Yield back.